The CLA speaks about it.
Thank you, CLA, because we want to be official. I actually do not have a status report on work program today, but I thought I would take the opportunity to come today and introduce you to our new Deputy Director of Planning. And I think you all know that we have been on a nationwide search for some time. We have 2 Deputy Director of Planning positions available, and today, in his first day with the City of Los Angeles, we have Mr. John Dugan, who served for the past 7 years as Planning Director of the City of Oklahoma. And he not only served as Planning Director of Oklahoma City, but he also was a professor at the University of Oklahoma, has taught planning for a number of years. He was president of the American Planning Association there in Oklahoma City, also brings a wealth of policy and planning experience to the city. He does have California experience, has worked in California a number of years ago, so we're very happy to have him here. And if you don't mind, I would like for him to just say a couple of words, and if you guys have any questions, but we expect to have him very involved in all of our activities in a very short period of time. So, John?
Thank you. Thank you, Gail, and good afternoon. I'm happy to be here, members of the committee. I'll be working closely with all of you in the future for many years, I hope. Los Angeles has a lot of challenges and opportunities, and my job is to kind of help facilitate getting all the work done that we need to do. So thank you very much, and we'll be working with you.
Thank you very much, and welcome. And I missed, for the past 7 years, you were at what city?
Planning Director for the city, for Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma City. Okay.
Oklahoma City just this year surpassed Portland and is now the 30th largest city in the country.
Great. Thank you. Okay, well, thank you and welcome. We look forward to working with you, and we and Plum have been very excited with our new Planning Director, Ms. Goldberg, that is refocusing our planning department and bringing real planning to the City of Los Angeles. We fully support the efforts that are being undertaken to get some more plans out in our community and implement them and enforce them. And with her leadership and you on the helm here, we're going to continue to make the City of Los Angeles a better place to live. And so thank you and welcome. Any questions from comments?
No, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Goldberg. Next item.
Item 1, Councilman, is a city attorney report and a draft ordinance to make amendments to the municipal code regarding mural signs.
This is, I believe, a technical correction, and is the planning department here for that to notify?
Tom Roth from the Planning Department. Yeah, you're correct. This is a technical correction to a recent amendment to the zoning code that adopted all of the sign regulations for the city. We're just going to change the permitting agency from the Department of Cultural Heritage to the Department of Cultural Affairs. That was just erroneously left out.
Great. Thank you very much. Any questions? No questions? So ordered. This item passes?
So you will approve the city attorney ordinance, Council?
I approve the city attorney ordinance with the technical correction. Yes.
Item 2, Councilman, is a North Valley APC zone change ordinance and a building line removal, and this is in CD 12.
Good afternoon, Councilman. Frank Juan with the Planning Department. I was a hearing officer on the case. This involves a zone change for a 25,000 square foot parcel from RA-1 to a TQRD4-1, which is a multiple family zone. The proposed project, I'm sorry, there's also a building line removal, but the project involves 5 single-family units. This is a small lot subdivision design, and I believe there are 6 lots proposed. 1 lot is an open space lot, and the others will be developed with single-family dwellings. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. The case went before the commission, and they approved it unanimously.
Great, thank you. CD 12 here? Representative from CD 12? No? Okay. Well, we'll go ahead and approve this item with the agreement of Mr. Weiss, and we'll forward that item. Approve it. Next item.
Item 3, Councilman, this is a report from the Director of Planning. It's a general plan amendment, and it's for a property in CD 4.
I'm Daniel Scott, Community Planning Bureau. The City Planning Commission on October 25, 2007 disapproved a general plan amendment from low-medium density to medium density and disapproved a zone change from RD 1.5 to R3. The subject property was part of a city-initiated plan amendment and zone change where 25 lots were affected and the zoning and plan were inconsistent. The City Planning Commission on July 27, 2006 approved a plan amendment from low density to low medium density and a zone change from R3 to RD 1.5 for the larger area. Staff recommends that your committee uphold the action of the City Planning Commission.
Okay, is City 4 here on this item? Council District Office here? No? Okay. I would recommend that we approve the report, which will deny the zone change. Okay. 1 second.
Sharon Cedar of Cardin, the City Attorney's Office. You're disapproving the plan amendment. The zone change is not before you.
Okay.
And, Councilman, there's a representative from CD4 in the audience now.
Welcome.
Thank you. I didn't have a chance to fill out a card. Renee Weitzer for Councilman Talmabanj. We support the staff and the commission report denying the zone change and plan amendment.
Okay, the plan
Thank you
amendment.
very much.
Okay, thank you. We'll take that action with the concurrence of Mr. Weiss. So ordered. Next item, please.
Item 4, Councilman, is a North Valley APC report. It's an ordinance relative to the removal of a 20-foot building line in CD7.
Hi, Maya Zaitsevsky, Planning. This was a building line removal that was incident to a 57-unit small lot subdivision. It was consent item in North Valley APC. We recommend approval of the removal of the building line.
And the Plan Department's recommending approval?
Removal of the building line, yes.
Okay. Okay, CD7 here? Okay, we will go with the Planning Department's recommendation and with the concurrence of my colleague. So ordered. Next item.
Councilman, item 5 is a report from the Cultural Heritage Commission. It's relative to the inclusion of the Bukovsky Court as a historic cultural monument in CD13.
Good afternoon. Ken Bernstein with the Office of Historic Resources. This is the Historic Cultural Monument application for Bukovsky Court on DeLongpre Avenue in Hollywood. This was built between 1922 and 1926 and consists of 2 one-story Spanish Colonial Revival residential buildings, a 1-story California bungalow-style residential building, and a 2-story Spanish Colonial Revival residential building in a courtyard plan. The building is significant for its association with the noted novelist and poet Charles Bukowski, who resided in this complex from 1963 and 1972 during the most prolific period of his literary career, including the writing of his first novel, Post Office, and the property was the setting for his novel, Women. The property meets the Historic Cultural Monument criteria for its association with historic personages, specifically as the home of Charles Bukowski, a noted literary figure influential in the cultural life of Los Angeles.
Okay. Let me CD13 here on this item. No? Okay, we'll go to public comment. Our first speaker is Mike Bueller. After Mr. Bueller is Alfredo Hernandez.
Good afternoon, members of the committee. My name is Mike Bueller. I'm Director of Advocacy for the Los Angeles Conservancy. On behalf of the Conservancy, we urge the Planning and Land Use Management Committee to forward the nomination of 5124 West DeLongpre to the full City Council for approval. As recognized by a unanimous vote by the Cultural Heritage Commission in the staff report, 5124 DeLongpre, although architecturally modest, is culturally significant based on its association with internationally renowned author and poet Charles Bukowski. We urge Plum to apply the Cultural Heritage Ordinance criteria objectively here and recognize that Bukowsky is a historic personage as defined under the ordinance, and the property deserves recognition based on that status. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Alfredo Hernandez. After Mr. Hernandez is Lauren Everett.
Good afternoon, committee members. I'm Alfredo Hernandez from the East Hollywood Neighborhood Council, Vice President and Co-Chair of our Planning and Beautification Committee. We're pleased to inform you that during its December 17, 2007 regular meeting, the East Hollywood Neighborhood Council considered the matter of the historical cultural nomination for registration as a historic landmark of the Charles Bukowsky residence located at 5124 DeLongpre Avenue and approved support of the registration. Several members of the board were intimately familiar with the writings of Charles Bukowsky and reported proudly that in his writings he often referred to East Hollywood and that address was mentioned in a poem and adorned the cover of his novel Post Office. I have letters of our statement and copies of our minutes approving this if you need them.
Thank you very much. You could give those to the clerk, please, right there to your right. Lauren Everett. After Ms. Everett is Jordan Jones.
Bukowsky lived at 5124 DeLongpre Avenue longer than any other residence in Los Angeles. Most significantly, it was during this time that he was approached by fledgling publisher John Martin of Black Sparrow Press with the life-changing offer to quit his job at the post office and become a full-time writer, which of course resulted in his first novel, Post Office, written in just 3 weeks at this address. It remains his most popular work to date. Also, while living at this address, Bukowsky wrote his seminal underground column, Notes of a Dirty Old Man, South of No North, Mockingbird Wish Me Luck, The Days Run Away Like Wild Horses, and Factotum. The structures in question comprise a modest 1920s bungalow courtyard. However, it is their unassuming nature that makes them remarkable as a site where a working-class Angelino became a world-famous writer and Los Angeles icon. As one of the city's most perceptive and passionate historians, Bukowsky painted a vivid picture that has become an indispensable part of our collective history. This residence is the quintessential embodiment of his legacy, and it must be preserved for its place in our cultural and literary history.
Thank you very much. Jordan Jones. After Mr. Jones is Julian Almaraz.
Good afternoon. My name is Jordan Jones, and I am the co-owner of Musa One Frank Grill. I'm a resident of Hollywood and also own some property in Hollywood. My family's been involved in this area for almost 90 years now, and Charles Bukowsky was a regular at my family's restaurant, which has become a Hollywood institution. And I'm just here to say that I think it's very important that we preserve this kind of history. It's we all know that Los Angeles is rich in history of film, and but it's something that not everybody knows about Los Angeles, is that we're also rich in literary history, and I think that this is a great opportunity to set a precedence and preserve our literary history so that the rest of the world can share that with us, and I think that this certainly would be a good place to start.
Thank you very much. Julian Almaraz, of the LAPD. This is item number 7. Oh, I'm sorry, this is item number... You're correct.
Item 5.
You're listed here as number 7. Yeah, I'm sorry, this was in the wrong bracket. I was wondering what the LAPD had to say about this. That ends our public comment period. Is CD13 here? Nope. Okay. Any questions or comments from our colleagues? I'm going to recommend that we approve this item. I want to make it clear, however, that the approval of this item by this panel does not endorse the social views or political leanings of any individual when we consider something historic. I actually was introduced to Mr. Bukovsky through his famous movie Barfly, and happened to see a bio on him on one of our HBO or one of those channels, and found his life very interesting for artistic purposes, but my political views were very different from him, nor did I endorse his lifestyle. But I think something of significance like this in Los Angeles is worth saving, as the Cultural Heritage Commission found. So with that, recommend that we approve this item. Any questions, comments?
CD13 in support of this?
We don't know.
Staff, though? Bernstein?
Yes, CD 13 has been in support of this nomination when it was
Yeah?
before the
Okay.
Cultural Heritage Commission.
Thank you. Okay. No objections, so ordered. This item will move forward to council. Any date on when this will get to council? Do we know?
Actually, we can schedule it for next week, probably the 26th.
26?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. This item will go to full council on the 26th. Thank you very much. Next item. If we could go to number 7, we do have a member from the police department here who would want to take at this time.
Item 7, Councilman, is an appeal by Michael Avakian and others. They're appealing the entire decision of the advisory agency, which denied the closure of a mobile home, and the mobile home is located in CD6, and staff is present.
Good afternoon, Mr. President, members of the Commission. My name is Lynn Harper. I'm here representing the Deputy Advisory Agency in the Planning Department. You have before you an appeal of a dismissal or disapproval of a mobile home park closure impact report. The site is located in the Arleta-Pacoima planning area. I think it was read into the record 12159 West Branford Street. The site is approximately 1.84 acres. It has had at one time on it 40 pads for mobile homes or mobile home coaches. The pads were established there in the late 40s, early 50s for veterans coming back from World War II. The age of the mobile homes were approximately of that vintage also. The applicant, the underlying zone is M2-1. The applicant reports that what they wanted to do is close the mobile home, remove the trailers or the mobile homes, and reestablish the manufacturing use on the site. It is in a large manufacturing area, so that use seemed appropriate. However, the city does have procedures for how mobile home parks are to be closed. Although you haven't seen a case like this in probably at least 5 years, we are noticing that more and more mobile home parks are making inquiries into also closing or converting their mobile homes. So how we handle this project is going to set a precedent for the ones that should follow, that may follow. Essentially, the impact report was prepared. We issued a public hearing to all the tenants so that they could read the report, be aware of their rights, discuss what they thought was proper relocation and purchased prices for whatever mobile homes individuals may own, and we held a hearing. However, on the day before the hearing, I went out to the site and discovered that there were only 2 mobile homes left, and they were off their foundations, and that essentially all the mobile homes had been removed. The following day, I received a supplemental impact report statement from the applicant telling me that they had negotiated by themselves relocation benefits for the various different residents, and as a consequence, the residents had taken the money and left, and so there was nobody there to either verify or attend the public hearing. Subsequent to the public hearing, I'm going to assume you read the staff report, but subsequent to the public hearing, I disapproved the impact report because it was essentially a fictitious document. It was based on the assumption that those 40 people were there, and they weren't there anymore. The statements regarding relocation benefits, we were unable to verify because there was no tenants there that could comply. And we also had differences of opinion with the applicant and their legal representation regarding the right of each tenant to have an impact report. He denied some of the tenants a copy of the report, which I felt was critical because this report, this is how thick it is, has information on where they can go to relocate or get assistance in relocating, and most of the tenants did not get that report. So as a consequence of the denial, the applicant filed the appeal you have before you. And I'm available for questions. That concludes my report.
Great, thank you very much. CD6 here on this item? Do you wish to speak now or after the public, after? Okay, great, thank you. We have a number of public speakers. We typically allow 2 minutes. I would ask if you feel like a point has already been made that you reserve those comments since we do have a number of speakers on this item. We'll first go with the Police Department. Julian Almaraz.
Thank you for your time. Glad to be asked to talk. What happened here at this location is that over the years we had problems of gang activity, narco activity, and I completed a project on it because I wanted to show there was problems at this location. What caused me to come across this is because I was finding numerous trailers through Pacoima area. Okay, so I was advised at this location where the trailer park was at was they were coming from that area. So I went to talk to the owner, Michael, and I advised him what's going on with these trailers. These yours? He says, no, I've gave these people some currency to move the trailers. So basically their trailers are being dumped in Pacoima. So I told him I would come up with a report to show the impact of the crime activity there. Prior to closing the site, I talked to narcotics and gangs. Narcotics had 4 warrants signed to investigate 4 trailers there of heavy narcotics activity. Also, by this report I have, you show the crimes in the area for last year. But I've been having problems with the location for at least 10 years there because the low-income community that lived there, mostly Hispanic, a lot of activity was going on there. I mean, they were doing a lot of traffic transgressions, a lot of gang activity, but graffiti in the area. Other things were going on in that area was dumping of vehicles, dumping of furniture, because when one person moved out, they dumped the furniture in the middle of the road. 2 years ago, Councilman Tony Cardenas went through there and cleaned the whole area out. Since this location has been closed, our calls for service and everything in that area has dropped by 50%. The crimes in that area has dropped by 50%. I'm not here testifying for Michael. I'm here to testify for the community and the quality of life in the area. So I'm looking at this standpoint as crime in the area. So hopefully you don't open it back up to the trailer park, because I've talked to all the businesses in the area. Since that closure, a lot of the thefts have decreased in that area. You get a lot of salvage yards, a lot of manufacturers. And that area is known for a lot of material being stolen, like copper, metal. And since this area has been closed, crime has dropped a lot in the area. So hopefully you don't reopen it as a trailer park. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Harcourt, I hope I pronounce this correctly, Harot Bruchian. Are you the applicant, sir? Okay. Yes.
Good afternoon. My name is Harut Brutian. Don't know where to start. We had, as best of our knowledge, tried to do everything as far as complying with the laws, impact report, and with the housing department applying for the relocation and everything. Now, over the time we had dealt with the people, while we thought we were right at that time, we did pay pretty much everybody relocating assistance, which then I found out that that wasn't the correct amounts. And anyhow, as far as Ms. Harper's comment that there were nobody there at the time of the hearing and everything, most of the people were paid and they had moved out, and they were, as far as I was concerned, they were happy with it. And most of them are here today to tell their side of the story. But the only other thing that I can say is, again, there was mistakes done that we didn't know about it, and working with the council's office and planning department and housing department, hopefully we will correct the problems that is required to do this. That's pretty much
Thank you
it.
very much.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Adrian Meza Servin. After Mr. Servin is Myra Flores.
Good afternoon, members of the community. My name is Adrian Mesa Servin. I've been living at 12159 Bromford Street in space number 39 since I was 5 years old. I was one of the translators when we did an agreement to move out earlier. We were going to get paid a certain amount of money, and we were going to move out earlier. We all agreed to go ahead and take the money and move out earlier. We did hand out all the packages to every single mobile home owner, and we also to any other residents. I was one of the translators. I personally handed them out hand by hand. And what I want to say is, since I've been living there, since I was 5 years old, this mobile home park has always had crime. It's always had drug problems. Gang members would come in, shootings would go on, and, I'm happy. In a way, I'm sad because, I've been there so long, but I'm happy to see it close because I don't want that my sons going through that problem that I went through, seeing gang members come in, shooting, drugs, alcohol, and I support the measure of closing the mobile home park.
Okay. Thank you very much. Mayra Flores. After Mayra Flores, Octavio Guzman.
Good afternoon. My name is Mayra Flores, and I lived there since I was 2 years old. All I have to say is that we had a fair warning. Everybody agreed on doing what we agreed to do, which was leave before the cutoff time that we had, and also we agreed to the money. So that's all I have to say.
Great. Thank you very much. Octavio Guzman. After Octavio Guzman is Salvador Flores.
Hi, my name is Octavio Guzman. I also live in a space number 9. And then what I'm going to say, for me, the owner, he spoke to us, everybody agreed, about everything, it was on the book. So they give us money to move. They give us time and everything, but he was, explaining everything. He was not like pushing us. He was a good man, So he helped us, and then we tried to help him. So for me, there's no problem, I just want to help.
Thank you very much. Salvador Flores. After Salvador Flores is Ricardo Ozuna. Your translator, can we translate?
No, we didn't. We weren't informed to get a translator for the meeting, but if you want to translate and then give it an English version, I think that may be acceptable.
Puede hablar, señor, y voy a traducir lo que usted dice, pero si me da tiempo para traducir, por favor.
Pues está bien, pues nada más veníamos pues para que él nos pidió pues que viniéramos pues para hablar bien de él, porque pues lo que pasó pues cerró y todo, y nos avisó con tiempo, y pues nos dio un dinerito y todo para salirnos y todo, pues se portó bien, no hubo ningún problema.
He says that the owner acted properly, that he advised them with time and gave them money. He came to support the owner.
Y pues yo digo que pues está bien, pues vine pues para, él que quiere que le den su permiso o algo se cerró el negocio y pues ya cada quien buscó dónde vivir y todo, ya es todo para que haga su construcción o ahora no lo que vaya a hacer. Pues yo para mí es todo, que todo estuvo bien, no hubo ningún problema para salir de ahí.
He says that everything is fine when they left, that it's okay, that he wants his permit and he wants to start his construction, that everything is fine with him.
Pues yo digo que vivimos muy a gusto, pero pues se cerró y fue todo.
Says that they lived well there, but it closed.
No, pues es todo, nada más lo que queremos hablar para él.
And that's it we want to That's all we want to say.
Yeah.
Okay. Gracias. Yes. Gracias. Ricardo Ozuna.
Hello, my name is Victor Ozuna, and I live there at the units at the Starlight. And my family and myself, we were very happy until this happened, which is a sad thing to say. And at the same time, I would say it was a little better for us moving, because it was pretty bad. I mean, you know, it's... But as far as the owner, he was the nicest guy around. He would stop and ask us if everything was fine. We say yes. At the time we moved out, he gave us some money to start. And I would say that I agree with all these neighbors that were there. I just heard them talking about, so I do agree with them. And I do thank you.
Thank you very much. Antonio Flores. After Antonio Flores is Jose Dominguez. Hello.
I don't speak English.
Yeah, I'll translate for you.
Okay. No, pues nomás vinimos a hablar bien de él. Estuvimos muy a gusto viviendo ahí. Pues,
¿Cómo? ¿Qué dijo que estaba viviendo a gusto ahí?
estuvimos viviendo muy a gusto ahí. No tuvimos ninguna queja de él ni tampoco el de nosotros.
He says that he's been living comfortably there. He has no complaints with the owner.
So,
That's it. Okay, gracias. Jose Dominguez. After Jose Dominguez is Rosendo Barragán.
¿En español, por favor?
¿Necesita traducir?
Sí.
Okay.
Por favor. Ok. Yo viví allí desde 1986. Viví como 20 años. Viví muy a gusto. Nunca tuve problemas. Y pues yo vengo a hablar pues bien para ellos porque nunca tuve ningún problema con los dueños ni nada.
I live at unit number 186 for over 20 years. We've lived there comfortably. We've had no problems.
Y pues lo único que queremos que él, si él quiere reconstruir donde va a construir, que le vaya bien y que no hubo problemas con nosotros.
And that if he wants to construct, that he could go well and that he has no problem with it.
Y dio el tiempo suficiente para que se saliera uno.
He gave plenty of time for them to move out.
Y le deseo buena suerte y esto es todo.
He said he wishes the owner good luck and that's it. Gracias. Rosendo Barragán. After Rosendo Barragán is María Mendoza. ¿Necesita que la traduzca, señor?
No, está bien.
No, ¿usted habla inglés?
También vengo a decirles lo mismo, que estuve viviendo muy a gusto durante 20, 22 años ahí. No nos molestaron para nada y que todo estuvo bien.
Okay. He says that he's lived there over 22 years. He's had no problems and everything's been fine. Okay, gracias. María Mendoza. After María Mendoza is Blanca García. Después de María Mendoza es Blanca García. Buenas tardes. ¿Necesita que le traduzca lo que dice? Okay.
Mi nombre es María Mendoza y pues venimos aquí para apoyar al Señor. Nosotros ya no vivimos ahí. Duramos desde el 86, estuvimos viviendo ahí. Vivimos muy bien ahí, nunca tuvimos problemas de nada y nos salimos pues voluntariamente, no él nos forzó ni nada.
She says she's lived there since 1986. She's come to support the owner. They've lived well there. They've had no problems.
Nada, estaba bien todo. Todo estuvo muy bien con él. Y lo vamos a apoyar para que pues él siga lo que va a hacer.
Okay, and she says they're here to support what the owner is going to do and to continue doing what he was going to do. Gracias. Blanca Garcia? After no? Yes? Blanca Garcia here? No? Cecilia Gonzalez? After Cecilia Gonzalez is María González. Después de Cecilia González es María González.
Bueno, pues yo solo vengo a darle gracias al Señor aquí, que pues sí nos dejó vivir ahí, estuvimos bien, y pues ya si le tienen que dar un permiso para que Él pueda abrir su lugar para construir, pues que lo hagan, porque pues todos nosotros ya encontramos dónde vivir, y si algún día necesitamos alguna ayuda de Él o algo, pues sí nos gustaría que nos la diera.
She said that she wanted to thank the owner that he has let them live there, that if he needs a space to do what he needs, and that if one day they need help, he will help them. Gracias.
Todo. Muchas gracias.
María González. Después de María González es Fernando Santillán. After María González is Fernando Santillán.
Mi nombre es María González. Venimos aquí a apoyar al Señor para que le den su permiso para que construya su trabajo que quiere hacer. Nosotros vivimos muy a gusto. Yo tuve 18 años allí y tuve muy a gusto viviendo allí porque Él nunca nos molestó.
My name is Maria Gonzalez. We've lived there for over 18 years, and we've come to support the owner for him to get his permit. We've lived there comfortably. Gracias. Fernando Santillán. Guadalupe López.
Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes.
Hola, mi nombre es Fernando. Yo vengo aquí a decir, pues, el Señor nos trató bien y todo. Nada más, creo no fue justo en el desalojo, o sea, en caso de dinero. Creo que no nos dio lo justo, pero él en sí se portó bien con nosotros.
¿Usted dijo que no era justo el dinero que le dieron?
Supuestamente, yo después me di cuenta que no era justo, pero yo no sé, o sea, no tengo la decisión de decidir yo. O sea, eso es todo.
It says that they've been treated well, that some have said that what the money they received wasn't fair, but that's what he's heard, and that's all he's here to say. Okay. Gracias.
Okay, gracias.
Guadalupe López Rosa Valdovinos González.
Mi nombre es Guadalupe López y yo viví 15 años allí en las trailers y viví muy a gusto hasta que nos llegó el desalojo. Al principio pensé que era algo justo porque allí en esas trailers se cometían muchas injusticias con el dueño y pensé yo que era justo, pero no sé si fue justo en el dinero que nos dio. Queremos que la corte determine eso.
Okay, she says she lived there for 15 years in the trailers until they received the notice to move, that she initially thinks that it wasn't just the amount of money they got, but that she'll leave it up to the courts to decide. Okay, gracias. Rosa Valdovinos González. Marina Aguilero.
Mi nombre es Rosa. Duré 32 años ahí viviendo en las trailers. Todo estuvo bien hasta que nos salimos. Todo estuvo bien. Está bien que si él ya va a reconstruir, hacer algo otro negocio allí, que lo haga. Todo está bien.
Okay, she says she's lived there 32 years, everything's well until they left, and that's okay with the development they want to do there. ¿Dijo que está bien con el desarrollo que iban a hacer allí? ¿Usted dijo que está bien con el desarrollo que van a hacer?
O si él va a hacer algo otra cosa ahí ahí en lo que eran las trailers, está bien que la haga.
Okay, she says she's fine with whatever they're going to do there. Okay. Gracias. Marina Aguilera, o María, no Marina. Eugenia Aguilera, después.
Solamente vengo a hablar bien por el Señor. Él nos trató muy bien, fue muy buena persona y queremos ver si él necesita hacer su negocio, que le den su permiso. Es todo.
She says she came to talk good about the owner, that if he needs his permit, that we should give it to him. Eugenia Aguilera, and our last speaker is Eduardo Martinez.
Soy Eugenia Aguilera y vengo a hablar a favor del señor que nos trató muy bien y fue muy amable.
So she came to say that they got treated well there. Okay. ¿Y es todo?
Sí.
Okay, gracias. Okay, and from CD6 we have Eduardo Martinez.
Good afternoon, Mr. President, council members. Ed Martinez, interim full deputy for Councilman Antonio Cardenas. Number one thing, I want to commend Mr. Harut Brotian for actually making an effort in trying to compensate the people for relocating. But I think also that we must compensate them fairly and just, and that is why, on behalf of Councilman Cardenas, we're recommending that you deny the appeal that he is making, and that we also request that Mr. Brotian submit a new CIR with the new calculations of the relocation benefits, that they be implemented in this CIR. At the same time, that they also include the new calculation of the value of the mobile homes, and also that he open an escrow account for a minimum of 1 year in case any of those renters or tenants that were not paid correctly to be paid within the next year.
Thank you very much. Now, if we deny the appeal, those items that were read by CD6, those are, I mean, we cannot order those out of this committee, correct? I mean, if the owner agrees to resubmit, that's up to him whether he would resubmit it with those items that Mr. Martinez mentioned, correct?
Well, I'll ultimately defer to the city attorney, but I'll get Lynn Harper with advisory agency. I'll give my pass first at the information. You have a choice if you can choose to grant the appeal, deny the appeal, grant the appeal, and allow another 6 months continuance for him to amend the impact report. But I want to clarify a little bit about the relocation amounts. In April 11th, 2007, the City Council approved a new rent stabilization ordinance that had elevated amounts, amounts elevated from the previous amounts for relocation. Those amounts were not on the table for these folks because the representation that the owner had felt that legally the owner didn't have to provide them. So what the owner did is negotiate what everybody thought was fair. That's fine, but it's a lot less than what the April 11th ordinance would allow these people. The second thing is that in a mobile home park, you have people who rent the pad and own the mobile home, and then you have people who rent the mobile home and rent the pad. There's at least one gentleman here, I notice, who's a mobile home owner. In that park of 40, the applicant identified at least 15 people who owned their mobile homes. Now, granted, these mobile homes are from the 40s and 50s, and you know, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and maybe other people don't think a mobile home from the 40s and 50s is worth a lot, but the owner offered them $500 to $1,500 for their mobile home. When I went on the internet and looked at the value of mobile homes of that vintage, they were from $7,500 to $44,000. So I would like to reopen that discussion as to what the value of those homes were, because if they're moved, they're destroyed, but that doesn't mean they have no value. There's a certain replacement value. It's a little bit of a unusual situation. And the third issue is this escrow account. Again, I want to congratulate the applicant. When the applicant went out and found all these people, because at first we thought we'd never be able to find these people, and he did a great job finding, I think, at least 12. But there are other people out there we haven't found yet, and so if they come up, they hear what's going on, and they come out, we'd like to have money in an escrow account so that when they appear, at least for the first year, we can pay them what is legally obligated. Now, we've had discussions with the Department of Housing here in our City Department of Housing, and they are not, well, I'll let them speak for themselves, but for various reasons, they do not want or cannot be the holder of the escrow account. But they are happy to do a number of things to facilitate this. One is to work with the tenants, to have the applicant apply for relocation counselor, and then each tenant will be interviewed by a relocation counselor who will determine what their qualifications are, what the proper relocation amount is. We'll ask them what they think the value of their mobile home was, and the relocation counselors can also work with the applicant to set up the rules or negotiate the rules for the escrow account, the standards for the escrow account.
So to achieve those goals with the new rules for escrow and to do recalculations of the tenant's relocation, is a better process to go about and achieve those goals to deny the appeal altogether or to grant the appeal with and amend the impact analysis? I think we should just deny the appeal if we want to achieve those goals, correct?
The reason why, although the applicant is extremely cooperative and helpful, the reason why I'm recommending that you deny the appeal is, as I said, this is the first case like this that this body has seen in probably 5 years or more. But there's over 100 of them that are in similar circumstances out there in the city who's watching this process, and I would prefer for the appeal process not to be viewed by them as just their escape hatch, so they can play hardball, not negotiate, and then in the appeal process just go, oh, okay, you got me.
I think you don't have to say no more on that. I would recommend that we deny the appeal and not start a precedence here where we could allow this loophole. And also just generally, we as a committee, I believe, and as a council have been supportive generally of the new policy we have in relocation assistance. And although the applicant wasn't bound by it, we had hoped that in the process, I've seen many developers at the time give that new relocation assistance, even though they knew it was coming, but even though they weren't required to do it, it was just the right thing to do. So we would hope that that happens in this instance as well. So thank you. I would recommend that we deny the appeal. Any no objections, so ordered. Thank you very much. Next item.
The next item, Councilman, is an appeal by Curtis Fralin. This relates to the Mavericks flat, and it has to do with an appeal of the South LA's decision which overturned the zoning administrators, and it relates to four different variances. And
thank you very much. Before we do that item, I'm sorry, I just have one item number 9, which is the weekly status update presented by the Los Angeles Housing Department and other departments. We have a speaker's card, but I wanted to tell those people from the departments who are here on that item, we won't take that item up. We would just hear the public comment. So you don't have to stay in these corridors anymore. We know you all have important work to do. So thank you very much. Thank you for your patience. I apologize for that. So item 9, we have a speaker's card, but we won't necessarily take any action or hear that item at this time. Going back to item number 6, the planning department here on item number 6. Esos, can you please take your conversations outside? Si las personas que quieren hablar, si pueden ir para afuera. Gracias. Is the planning department here on item number 6?
Good afternoon, committee members. Lourdes Green, you heard this case last week, and you just wanted to give some additional time for the council office of Council District 8 to refine some language, and I believe they have some language that they're going to offer as part of a letter for some modifications to conditions for you to consider.
Okay, thank you. CDA, Mr. Hernandez.
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, I'm going to read a letter on behalf of Councilmember Parks to the committee. I'm writing to express my support for the above referenced appeal. As indicated in the applicant's appeal, the developer is proposing an update, remodel, renovation, and addition to Los Angeles Historic Landmark number LA 679, also known as Maverick Flat. Dating back in the 1960s, this iconic building has served Los Angeles African-American community as a venue of entertainment and dancing. However, activity at Mavericks Flat has fallen over the past decade, and as a result, the property has increasingly suffered and deferred maintenance and structural deterioration. Fortunately, a new owner purchased the building in 2005 with a goal to restore the building and bring back its heyday as one of the preeminent social venues along Crenshaw Corridor. The restoration and reopening of Maverick Flat has been embraced by the community. The plans have been reviewed and approved by the Crenshaw CRA, the Community Advisory Committee, the Crenshaw Corridor Specific Plan Design Review Board, as well as the South Los Angeles Area Planning Commission. The reopening of Maverick Flat is seen as a crucial first step in bringing back the quality of dining and entertainment to this area. If successful, we believe Maverick Flat could be the catalyst for similar entrepreneurial efforts along Crenshaw Boulevard and Lemire Park, and reverse years of disinvestment and continuing to decline. The economic challenge to lure private investment to this area is challenging. Therefore, it has not come as too much of a surprise that the developer is facing steep hurdles in financing this project, and we've attached a letter that the clerk has. To provide greater certainty with the success of the project, I therefore am recommending that due to these unique and special circumstances, the term of the grant approved by the South Los Angeles Area Planning Commission be extended from 4 to 10 years, and I'm also recommending that the approval of plans review be required no more than 24 months after Maverick Flat obtains the certificate of occupancy from the Department of Building and Safety. And that's basically the letter that we're submitting at this time.
Thank you very much. So does this change anything from last week? Were there any changes?
My understanding that it doesn't, that you were asking for a letter as to the position the council office was taking on this project.
Okay. Any questions or comments on this item? There are no other public speakers. Okay, so we'll go ahead and approve the appeal. Any, with no objections, so ordered. Thank you very much. Next item.
Public comment, Councilman.
Public comment. Actually, we have public comment number 9, and we have one speaker on number 9, and then we'll go public comment. We could take that item up. Betsy Handler.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. I don't know if this is appropriately 9 or public comment, but I want to talk about the residential hotel preservation ordinance, which is currently in the housing department, and it's my understanding that a draft has been completed, and we wish to urge you to use your influence to get that ordinance released to the public for comment by March 1st. The reason this is so critical is that, as I'm sure you know, there are some 15,000 units of residential hotel housing, which is housing of last resort. If lost, if any part of these 15,000 units are lost, we will see more homeless folks on Skid Row. I neglected to introduce myself by saying that I am the litigation director of the Inner City Law Center. We are on Skid Row. We see these problems every single day. As you know also, and with the leadership of this committee, a moratorium was passed in 2006. That moratorium expires in May of this year. So we need the new ordinance, which has been in the drafting stage for almost 2 years, which, although I grant you it may be complicated, is rather a lengthy period of time. And again, I urge you to please use whatever influence you gentlemen have as a committee and as individuals to get that ordinance out so we can talk about it and the council hopefully will pass it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and I'll submit that message to the chair of this committee, Mr. Reyes. Thank you very much. Next item.
Councilman, on item 6, I believe that the action is to approve it with modified conditions, given Councilman's, Mr. Hernandez's letter. So if you could read into the record, approve with modified conditions.
Okay, and I did ask if they were proposing any additional modifications. He said no, but the letter. Okay, so there is something there that we would need to approve with the modified conditions? Okay, that's right, because we were actually discussing those last week and we didn't come up with an agreement. Mr. LeGrand?
Director Michael LeGrand, City Planning Department. Their letter amplifies some of the comments that they made verbally last week.
That's right.
That they're actually putting into the record for changes that would be consistent with granting of the appeal. But I would say it would be safe to adopt the language supplied by the council office in their letter dated today.
Okay, we will reconsider that item, and
The action would be to grant the appeal and subject to the modified conditions.
Yes.
That was submitted by the council office.
yes, that
If you
will
agree
be
to
the
do
answer.
so.
Yes, great, thank you. With no objections, so ordered. Next item is public comment. Steve Diaz and David Corona afterwards.
Hi, my name is Steve. I'm with the LA Community Action Network. As you may know or may not know, about 15,000 residential hotel units exist in the city of Los Angeles, most of which are located in Council District 9, 10, 13, and 14. All of these districts are going through some form of redevelopment, putting these residential hotels at risk of being lost or converted. In response, some of the leadership of this committee passed a moratorium in 2006, but the moratorium protections are about to end in May. We're here this afternoon to give this committee a friendly reminder that our permanent residential hotel ordinance has been in draft stages for almost 2 years. It is our sincere hope that this committee will consider this ordinance very soon so that there is no gaps in protection for extremely low-income tenants. We know that the housing department faces urgent matters and that the city budget is a priority. However, it is our understanding that a draft ordinance has been prepared, and we are here to urge this committee to keep this important preservation effort a priority this spring as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Diaz. David Corona?
Yeah. Hi, my name is Davin.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm Director of Organizing at Strategic Actions for a Just Economy. This is my daughter, Amaya, who just got embarrassed. I'm here today also just to urge you all, just like folks from Inner City Law Center and from LA can, about the residential hotel ordinance. As you know, Jose, you have residential hotels in your district. They're being converted. And the more and more we wait and sit on this issue, the more and more we're losing these units. It isn't hard. There's language written. Housing departments has it. I think we just need to have it out, and if you all can help urge them to bring it out so we can have a public debate about this, because we've been waiting for 2 years since the moratorium, and nothing has moved. So if you all could help out with this, that's the reason why we actually came to talk about that. So thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, and thank you for bringing that to our attention. And at the next meeting, we will also, on item number 9, when we have an update on affordable housing policies and issues, we will have a report on that. Great. Thank you very much. That adjourns our meeting. Thank you.